everybody, welcome to the Tech-Mex podcast. We're your hosts, Eric Mando, and we're bringing you the top stories in Bitcoin tech and wealth. This is episode 73, and we're here so you can stay in the market and not time the market. Dale.
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 I like that. So, Cybertruck. Man, I don't know if I told you last weekend, I went, I have some friends that they want me to pick them up in Austin and in San Antonio airport.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and it's like, dude, are you going to drive from Houston to Austin and then to San Antonio in the same day? They're like, well,
That's
I'm
crazy.
going to drive it, but I want to use the FSD, baby.
That's so true. It's so nice.
So, man, it's like you still have to watch it. I have to intervene maybe in the whole trip, maybe 3 or 4 times, which is not that bad, you know. Like I already, it became so natural as part of my driving that is like I'm watching it. I have my hands on the wheel. I'm not sleeping. I'm not sleeping or anything like that. Right? So I'm truly paying attention, and I feel that the part that for me is still not there yet is that I feel that it's still not very natural when it stops. I feel that when it's like in certain velocity, maybe because in the road, sometimes it goes to here in Texas 75, right? In some areas,
Yeah.
I feel that's when it stops getting more. The velocity is like kind of stops too abruptly, and sometimes I'm trying to measure if this thing is actually going to stop, and then sometimes I intervene just to basically stop. Have you felt that?
It does stop kind of quickly, or it waits till like the last minute almost. It feels like to stop. Yeah, that's I tell it because you know how when you take over and the little thing pops up that says, "Why did you take over? Why did you turn off autopilot? What's wrong?" I said, "Because you were gonna stop, stupid." It's like, come on, man. Like, stop with a little bit more space in between. Because there's 2 reasons. One, you want to make sure you're not going to rear end the person in front of you, right?
Yeah.
But 2, there's the people behind you that they may not stop as quick as a Cybertruck. Cybertruck's a big truck, but it stops pretty quick considering it has the engine braking, or I don't know, whatever the regen braking. Plus, you can actually use the brakes. It can stop actually pretty quick. It feels like so. People behind you might not be able to.
But it's not very smooth, right? And going back for maybe the audience, you have in the Tesla screen, it tells you when you stop because you can just stop with the pedal or moving the wheel and you disengage, and that's basically what it's asking. Hey, what happened? Why you disengage autopilot? And then you can push in the steering wheel, there's a button for a microphone. Then you can record a message, which I do. It's like, hey, you didn't stop.
Yeah, exactly. You send him a message.
And then I send a message, fix it, Elon. And then just I push the message. But I guess Elon is too busy with Doge right now at the moment.
Yeah, I know. He's got some other stuff going on. Well, good news though.
All right.
Cybertruck came out this week. It says they have 5-star safety rating, which is the highest of any truck, I think.
I think there used to be the Volvos. The Volvos used to get that one, and the Subarus. I guess Cybertruck is cooler than those.
So, yes, you can feel a little bit safer now. It took them a while to come out with this. I'm not sure why it did. I guess they had to do a lot of tests or whatever. But I'm glad they got the 5-star safety rating before Elon dismantles NHTSA. So at least they got this one in before that gets taken apart.
Well, at least we got the thing, huh? So 5-star safety rating. So what is the implication? Like if it doesn't flip, because in this picture it looks like it's flipping.
Yeah. Well, so they purposely try to flip it. Those are the different tests that they do, right? They smash it into a wall basically at 35 miles an hour. It did pretty well. I think there's 3 main things. Like one of them is like 35 mile per hour crashing into a wall. It got 5 stars on that. I think the rollover, it only got 4 stars, but I think that's normal for a truck. And then they did one other test. It looks like it like running off of the side of a flip, or running off the side of this embankment here. Also 5 stars. Side impact also got 5-star rating on that. So overall, those are the sub scores, but overall I got 5 stars overall. So I think that's a very, very good thing. It's not very often that vehicles are getting 5-star safety ratings. Teslas, of course, they prioritize safety. So all their vehicles, I think, do have 5-star safety ratings, and I think it's the Model Y. Maybe it's like they made it so safe, so strong, like it very easily passed like all of their tests. So I mean, it's good news, especially for us.
Yeah. No, I use it a lot. So basically, we have another car, but yeah, I like it a lot. I use the FSD. So like I said, I just went 5 hours driving. I have already 10,000 miles, in my foundation series Cybertruck. So yeah, I'm using it as it's supposed to, doing truck things.
Doing truck things. I've moved some furniture in my truck, so that's like the check box that you got to check. I'm doing truck things. I'm moving.
So you went to
furniture.
Home Depot.
I check. Gone to Home Depot, loaded it up with plants. Check. Moved some furniture, doing truck things. Check. Went to the junkyard to go drop off some trash. Man, I'm doing truck things with my
look at you,
my
man.
truck.
This weekend we went camping. We put all of the gear for camping. It's like all muddy, right? Like oh man, my truck usually is like pristine clean, and this weekend is just all filled with mud in all of the tires and all of that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, then have
It's
to
a real
clean
truck,
it.
man.
Yes. Talking about Cybertrucks though, did you saw the video on the Cybertruck killing Duolingo?
In case you haven't, let me show you guys here. So
Hilarious,
Duolingo's
man.
owl was killed by a Tesla Cybertruck.
You know what? My wife Katie, producer Katie, she started looking because she uses it to learn Spanish, and my kids also to keep brushing in their Spanish, right? And suddenly the icon for the application, it had like the eyes crossed, like when something is dead, right? And it's like, why they change the icon to like be like exactly that one? Thank you. It's like Duo is there, right? So that the owl was with that, and even in the app. So basically, I think that is a marketing stunt. They haven't truly say why. It's a scheme, right? Like they're talking about the death of the beloved owl from the application. So what do you think that it is, though?
I'm not sure. I think it's a couple of things, right? I think one, there's a lot of Tesla hate that's going on right now with Elon and taking over stuff in the government. So a lot of people are doing like they're very anti-Tesla, which I don't know. Did I tell you about the story? Someone followed me in my Cybertruck. I was going to like a Kinko's or whatever to go make some copies. He followed me into the store. It was early morning, not many people around. And they walked up to me, tapped me on the shoulder. They said, "I think you might need this." And I don't have the sticker with me. It was a sticker of Elon dressed in pink saying, the sticker said, "I bought this before Elanya became the first lady." And it's like, oh gosh. Actually, let me see if I can find it. I don't know, but yeah, basically there's a lot of kind of Tesla hate, Cybertruck hate. Let me see if I can find it. Elanya first lady sticker.
First lady. I have seen it. You just show me that one. That one is the third image in there.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. This one. so she handed me this sticker. The sticker says, "You might." I'm like, "You're right. I need to put this on my truck because, there's a lot of mischief going on with the federal government right now."
I think that right now is like they have a bromance, right, between Trump and.
Yes.
And we every week we say, you know what, this is a technology podcast. We are not going to get into freaking politics. And then you have these two guys, right, doing a bromance.
It's just like, okay, it's hard to stay away from a lot of it, but yeah, no, I think it's a combination of a couple things, right? There's this stuff with Tesla. There's a lot of anti-Tesla stuff going on right now, and Cybertruck is like the epitome of Elon and Tesla kind of imagery. But then also, I'm not sure if you saw all of the stuff that came out of the Super Bowl with Kendrick Lamar doing the halftime show. He did like this big show, and it was kind of like a culmination of this year-long beef, or maybe even be longer, with Drake. Drake, of course, this other rapper, which uses the owl as part of his imagery and symbolism and branding and stuff like that for Drake. So Drake, he clearly has lost this beef. Kendrick Lamar, very, very eloquent rapper, very, very delivering these messages that are very, very poetic, right? And he did this kind of
like
masterpiece.
us. They're not like us.
They're not like us, right? And that A minor, like he like totally murdered Drake. So I think that's part of this also. They combine a couple things here. Their owl is dead. Pretty much like Kendrick Lamar has murdered Drake. It's over, especially with that iconic Super Bowl halftime show. And so, Duolingo is like, sorry, man, Duo's dead. The Cybertruck ran him over. I think that's what it comes down to. But I wonder, are they going to replace Duo, or is Duo going to come back to life at some point?
I don't know. I think that it's just maybe just got free advertising. They were around. I mean, everybody knows Duolingo, but the story of the creator of Duolingo is fascinating. He's also another Hispanic dude, right? So basically, the guy, genius, coder, programmer, techie, right? Just created CAPTCHA. Yes, the program that we all hate. But
really?
you need that in order to gatekeeping and protect your account. If not, you have like with AI, you have automation that they literally start breaking the things. And then he felt that there was a lot of wasted time just trying to figure out the numbers. Then he was one of the ones that created an algorithm to start labeling images. Hey, if you see a car, just select the pictures of a car in the picture, right? So that was kind of the reCAPTCHA. And that helped it. A lot of the vision and AI that we see right now is part of that. All of us helping to label
Train the
things.
model.
And then he noticed, it's like, what else is needed in humanity? Well, maybe languages. And that's when he started creating the kind of the game and all of that for Duolingo. But yeah, that guy is pretty sharp.
Vamos a la biblioteca.
Okay, Dora.
¿Qué hora es? Do you hear Katie doing that with her Duolingo? I know
My
Sandra, I
daughter
hear
has
you
like
practicing.
100-day streak, because I think that people
Oh,
really
really?
like when they have like, hey, I have been like doing Duolingo, like,
Yeah,
in my daughter, 100 days already, right? So
that's pretty good.
yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, not sponsored, but we support him. I like it.
So wink, wink, Duolingo.
You need a new mascot? Eric Mando.
Ramirez can be with the mascot custom there.
That was funny. All right, well, moving on. A little bit of Bitcoin news. We heard some kind of interesting stuff here, actually, about whatchamacallit, the Google Wallet. So I know a lot of people are probably familiar, at least the Android users out there, they're kind of familiar with the Google Wallet. You can do lots of different things, like put your tickets on there, put your boarding pass, loyalty cards, money, right? Vaccine record. You can put a bunch of different things, but they're talking about putting Bitcoin wallets in your
Nice.
Google Wallet. What do you think about that?
I'm very cautious with the wallets, but I think that moving some crypto there just in case to if I'm in another country and let's say in Salvador and I don't have they're not accepting anything. I feel that maybe just having some little cash there just to be able to pay is not bad. Just put in maybe 5K, 10K, whatever,
Yeah.
just to make sure that you can transact just in case.
Yeah, I mean, there's the concept of your cold wallet, but then also your hot wallet, right? I don't think Google is telling you you need to have your whole stash on your Google Wallet.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably not recommended. But like you said, you need a little walking around money, a few grand here and there. I mean, Gomez's walking around money is maybe a little bit bigger than some other folks is walking around money. 5, 10K. You never know what you're gonna need
You never know
on a
what
daily
you're gonna be.
basis.
Dude, shit, fucking inflation, man. It's like
Inflation. You don't know how many eggs you're gonna need to buy. So, like, you might need 5, 10 grand.
like, believe it or not, in back in those days, when the war just hit, like Europe, you actually had to have like almost a barrel of like currency fiat, right?
Right.
Just to get a piece of bread. So you never
That's
know,
true.
you might need that many.
Inflation, you never know. Well,
Yes.
I think it's pretty cool. Like you said, yeah, it's good to have a hot wallet. One, I think it's kind of cool for a Bitcoiner to be able to support the ecosystem. Like you're walking the talk, right? You're supporting the ecosystem. You can use it to show people, hey, this is, you can get a wallet here. You can send them some sats, just kind of so they have something. It's just, I remember early on, that's how I got some people. I mean, I gave a bunch of people free Bitcoin, right? Early on.
Don't remind me of that though. It's like these people sometimes like,
They
what is
all
your
lost
Bitcoin?
it. They all lost it. But I'm like, that's worth 20 grand now, right? it's just like, shit.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it's a good way though, just to kind of get people involved. If you think, they might be interested, you don't ever want to shove it down someone's throat, right? It's just like, if they have questions, like, well, look, it's just like another bank account, like a PayPal account or something like that.
Yeah,
Except
because every
backed by
person
the
that I was
blockchain.
explaining as well, Bitcoin, it's like, just open this and I just send you that. Voila, you have like $5, $10. But remember, sometimes Bitcoin was in $100 for us because we started very earlier.
25 bucks. I was like,
And it's, right now, as you said, it's 10% of 100, so it's almost 10K. Right,
Yep.
just with $5 that we just send it because we were just trying to show them the whole system and how it works. But yeah, it's like and as you said, like they don't know where they put the keys,
all
they don't
gone.
know what company.
Oh, I threw that phone away. Yeah. Well, so anyways, I think it's a good sign. It's not implemented yet, right? But I think it's part of their plans. So it'll be pretty cool that they're looking into these digital assets, trying to keep up with technology. Google is kind of one of these people at the forefront. So I think it's good that they're keeping up with this. It's about time, I think. Now, I don't know that they really investing that much in their Google Wallet. They've gone through a few iterations and closed some things down, opened things up, and combined some things, merging some apps. But hopefully this one sticks around. But as soon as I get it out, yeah, I'll put some money in a hot wallet, just kind of play around with. And I wonder if they're going to do like Lightning Network stuff, or if it's all just going to be the first layer stuff. Not sure.
Not sure.
Hmm.
So next on the stories though, this one kind of made me jiggle a little bit, giggle.
Jiggle and giggle.
No, jiggle,
all right.
jiggle. So this one is basically Jack Dorsey, the mind behind Bitcoin, right? So for those people that maybe they don't know who's Jack Dorsey, actually I wear my hoodie right now, right here over here. So for Twitter, I did work for Twitter a few years back, and I did have the chance to meet him in person. He was running.
Dude, you worked for Satoshi?
That's what they're saying, man. I don't know. I don't. He really likes crypto, and in this case, Bitcoin, and he actually pushes through, and he also is adding it to Cash App, right? So he has been
Square, right?
yeah, which is part of a Square. So and he was one of the ones like with Michael Saylor of trying to tell other companies to start putting in their balance sheet in their treasury, hey, get Bitcoin, right? So I feel that he is a good advocate, but it doesn't give me the vibe that he's Satoshi, man. What's your thinking there?
So I read a little bit more into the story. A couple of people have a few different stories behind it, and it's kind of funny because early on, I may have mentioned this before, but I started a company called Square Crypto with a friend or with a couple friends. We were trying to do basically Bitcoin payments. And we're like, well, how do we get the name out? Oh, let's do Square Crypto because people understand the concept of Square. You're making payments, right? So let's just do Square Crypto. Well, Jack did not like that, and he sent us a cease and desist. He's like, if you don't take this shit down, we're gonna sue the shit out of you. So I got sued by Satoshi, man. I don't know. I almost got sued. But
So
Satoshi.
you should just put a wall of fame, your own wall of cease and desist.
Yeah. That'd be kind of cool. So, but anyways, back to the story. Like Jack. So the reason Jack has been kind of pointed out here is because there's a few things that are kind of very, very highly coincidental with a lot of different things pointing towards Jack Dorsey. Like there's some interesting things. So if you look back to who the popular cyberpunk people that were there back in that time period when Bitcoin was probably being created, there's maybe a list of like 1,000 people that would have the chops to be able to do something like Bitcoin, and he's one of them. So I mean that narrows down the list. That narrows down the list a lot, and they were all kind of part of this organizations or forums and stuff like that, so they can kind of tell, okay, his email was kind of part of one of these, and back in the day he was part of like the cyber stuff. He was into the cyber stuff in college, and the people, the mascot for the college they were called miners, like crypto miners, and so they were into cryptography and things like that. So there's a lot of weird things like that kind of circumstantial evidence, right, that point towards him. Another thing is like there's a lot of key dates that line up with like the first block was done like I don't know on Jack Dorsey's mom's birthday. The last time he was heard of, Satoshi was heard of, was like on his dad's Jack Dorsey's dad's birthday, and then something else was on like Jack Dorsey's birthday. Like a lot of like key milestones in Bitcoin were done on these they just happened to land on birth dates of Jack and his parents. So very, very interesting there. And then there's other things like there's some I think there's a Canadian exchange that supposedly had Satoshi's something bought from Satoshi, but that exchange went out of business or got bought by Binance, I think, maybe. So they're saying Binance maybe has access to this account and knows some of the identity or history. So now there's these exchanges that potentially have information about who the identity is for some of these early Bitcoin transactions that people have done investigations, say these are transactions that have been likely done by Satoshi. So there's a lot of stuff like this, right? But they believe the smoking gun, like the actual identification, it's held by one of these exchanges at this point. Of course, for all of us here, we're like, delete that shit. Like, don't hold on to it. Someone will eventually get that info, delete it. Like we don't need to know. We don't need to know. If it is Jack Dorsey, I will say, if it is Jack Dorsey, I think I would say like, at least it's already a billionaire. He doesn't need these Satoshi coins that are locked up, and more than likely he probably already deleted the keys for it. So like, I think if it is Jack, I feel a little bit more comfortable knowing that, he's not really ever going to move these coins. They are going to be safe there. He doesn't need the money. He's already a billionaire, and he's already still doing work, right, to help the Bitcoin community, because that's what he left, right, Twitter and Square and that stuff for, to do that.
I mean, I think that he's still the CEO for Square, but he changed the company to Block.
So that's right.
Mm-hmm. Now that like Google changed it from Google to Alphabet, he renamed his company, which owns Cash App and a bunch of different Squarespace, Square, and all of those brands. All roll up to Block.inc, I think, or Block Inc.
And surprise, surprise, those are like electronic cash money companies, right?
Yeah,
It just fits in with Bitcoin, right?
yeah. Did he come back and say no, I'm not, or did he make a statement? Do you know?
I don't think he's made one recently. I think early on he has like, I'm not.
Yeah, because I remember this came back because this was like maybe 8 years ago, 10 years ago. Even they have said that even it's Elon, right? So in some point they were saying, no, it's Elon, right? Elon is the Satoshi. Then in that time, yeah, dude, right now he looks like a
But
hobo.
but maybe he is telling us something. He's got his name on his shirt, right?
Yeah. Satoshi. That's hilarious, man.
You just you don't know. You don't know. That T-shirt became real famous when I think he wore it at the Super Bowl last year, not this year's, but the previous year's Super Bowl. He was just letting everyone know, hey, Satoshi,
Satoshi's
Satoshi.
here.
It's like subliminal messaging.
Well, better than Craig, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure, right? That's too funny. Well, honestly, I'm not sure if we're ever really going to find out, or how much does it really matter? I don't
I
know.
don't think that right now matters
Yeah.
at all. So
Hmm.
unless the person still has the keys, that's truly what matters because they'll move a lot of coin there, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
they could.
that's 1 million coins. That would move the market a lot if they are trying just to cash out. So
Yeah. Right now, it's just what Michael Saylor has about half of that, and BlackRock, they now have at least about the same amount or more that Satoshi's going. So at least he's not out there by himself, like Satoshi's stack. But, there's some runner ups that are coming up.
it reminds me when we were putting together this. There is this guy. Shout out to his channel because we don't know him, but I see him like putting daily content. He goes by Radio Sats. Radio. Let me see to be exact. Is the name of is basically. Anyways, he posted this image, and it was very interesting to me because we have been in Bitcoin for a while, but he was just remembering or reminding us that the whole idea is not to time the market, is to be in the market. His argument here, though, if you notice, 2021, 2024, and 2025, it was that sometimes it doesn't move, right? The price of it fluctuates, it's volatile, but it still comes back to the same. If you notice, in 2021, it was in 55K, the price of Bitcoin. Then in 2024, it was when we were going up. Then it was in 52. So even you lost $3,000 here in this very aggressive instrument, right? Then people will say, "Ah, man, I should just get in maybe the other stock or whatever." But guess what? If you miss it, now this year is in 97, which is double. So I think that here the premise is, at least when you are trying to get it, again, we are not financial advisors, but what we have seen is that at least stay for years. So that way you can get the whole cycle. So what's your take there?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think we've said time in the market is more important than timing the market because of the moves that Bitcoin makes. They can be very abrupt and very volatile. So give it 4 years. Every four, as long as you're waiting 4 years, most of the time, you're not going to be in loss. And I think that's what this guy is trying to say, right?
Yeah.
So be patient. I mean, I know there's these 4 year cycles. Become familiar with them. When do they happen? Like what happens during these cycles, right? With the halving and things like that. So just be aware of where you are in the cycle. Don't just follow the headlines because the headlines are really they're market makers that are trying to make you do something so they can get your cheaper Bitcoin or your Bitcoin for cheaper. So just be aware. But yeah, in general, if you wait 4 years, you're gonna be in the positive. And it is kind of difficult to time the market just because it moves so fast. It just moves so fast. It's difficult to react quickly enough
Yeah.
for buys and sells.
It always like people ask me questions, right? And sometimes people that don't even know. Sometimes when I'm driving the truck or the other car, it's like, hey, what you do for a living, right? And I think that they're missing the point where maybe an analogy here is it can picture it can give you the picture. Imagine that we are just giving some seeds for a plant of maybe an apple tree to somebody, right? And that person comes back the next week. It's like this thing doesn't work. It didn't grow up to be a massive tree, right?
These weren't magic beans, magic internet beans.
Basically, it's like no, bro. It's like you need to make it like just wait. It's time. Unfortunately, everybody's impatient now with social media. They want everything to just like grow super fast and all of that. But remember, we have been in this thing almost a decade, right? It was not an overnight thing.
Yeah,
So
over a decade. Yeah.
over a decade, right? So 11 years, 12 years, right? So, and I feel that that's basically what we're trying to give you the message here, that it feels like maybe it's already in 100K or close to 100K. And it's like, well, it's already too expensive. But we have seen it from 100, and it felt expensive when it went to 1,000 because it was 10x. And it felt very expensive when it went to 10K. So, and very likely when it goes to a million, we will feel that 100K already as well is very expensive, right? So, but yeah, I going back to the tree, it's just growing in that way, where in some point it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Just get your piece, get your sats. If you're not able to get your one Bitcoin, get a portion, because I feel that sometimes they are buying the other shit coins, right? They're buying like the dog whatever, right? The dog of the day, the cat of the day, or even Ethereum. Ethereum hasn't even moved, right? Like that was kind of the second contender for another crypto. So, but yeah, I feel that that's what happens to people. They just expect it to grow like overnight.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Bitcoin is volatile, but if you take a look at it in the long term, in the long view, it's been going up, and it doubles. It has doubled several times over the last decade. So it'd be silly to think that that is going to stop with all of the positive news that just keeps coming out. Not financial advice, by the way,
Yep.
but kind of talking about that, all kind of the positive news that keeps coming out related to that. Abu Dhabi, $436 million that they've done in terms of Bitcoin investment. Mubadala, his
Say that
investment
again.
company,
Modal,
Mubadala, move that dollar, move that dollar, Mubadala. Which is the investment company for Abu Dhabi Sovereign Wealth Fund. They invested 436 million in BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF. Again, IBIT. A lot of institutional funds are starting to go this. A lot of sovereign wealth funds are going into this. There will be this supply shock where there's not going to be enough Bitcoin left in the exchanges for people to buy. Now, of course, Mubadala is probably not buying directly through like the exchanges, right? They probably have some white glove concierge that's doing this purchases for them, so it may not be moving the market as much that way. But eventually, yes, it will. Like there's only so many Bitcoins to go around, so either what price go up? I don't know. If you want some, the price is going to end up going up. So this should. And here's the thing: they're not showing you all their cards. This is just what they're willing to tell you, because I'm sure they still want to stack more. So I mean, what do you think about Abu Dhabi's plan here?
I think that I see it around, right? Like a bunch of different governments, states, different institutions, large corporations. They
Mhm.
are front running retail, right? Right now, the crypto bros and the DJs from Wall Street bets from Reddit
Yeah.
is like I'm like John Travolta. Where are they? Where are they? Because kind of all of these large organizations and entities, they are front running them,
Yeah.
and I don't know if they're truly paying attention, but it's like they're stacking. If you notice also the price though, it has been very stable compared to previous years. I mean, we were seeing like fluctuations of the price in one day, right? Pretty big ones. But yeah, go back to the image. Let me see. Thank you. So what is it showing us here?
It's just showing just in general, and that we are here. We're actually not there anymore. We're kind of a 2-3 years ahead of that. But back in 22, we were talking about how financial advisors and private bankers are beginning to look at it.
Hmm.
But now we're here. The largest institutions, mutual funds, pension funds, insurance companies, they're now all starting to look at it. And you would think, well, why now? But it's because now there's the instruments. They're now there. The tools are available now for big institutional funds to begin using it. Also, it's big enough, right? It's at 100K now. It's harder to move the price. It's harder for people to for it to be manipulated. Though there's ways because it happens in the stock market all the time, right? It's just part of the game. So you're right. It's been pretty consistent. I think it has been volatile, right? It started at 40K, then it jumped to 60K, then it jumped to like 80K, and then it jumped to 100K, and now it's kind of in this range between 92 and 100 something K, right? So it's been doing that. It's been doing its little bunny hops, I like to call it, which it happens every cycle. So just be aware. So all of this to say is that all of these funds are starting to invest. So there's been some news also this week. Some additional funds, right? That
Yeah,
started going into this.
yeah, and some states too, though, like Wisconsin, basically adds to their Bitcoin, and they. It's funny because some governments they don't want to say reserve, they call it differently. I forgot the name, what how they call them, but
Digital
some they
asset stockpile.
yeah, it's like what the heck, you know. It's like sometimes I think that they're just trying to control the narrative for the people, right? But look at the map in United States, and this is only United States, right?
Hmm.
So, and it's not the Republican party. I don't know why they put it red. It should be like orange
It's
or.
more orange. Yeah.
But yeah, you see Texas, Florida, right? So the news that came out, it was Wisconsin and Montana.
Yep.
So there were
So
those
that'd be
two
two
as well.
more. So it's like what, 17 maybe?
This one says 16, but plus those two, it will put us in 17. So now the
Hmm.
other thing that I was trying to look, do they have it already, or they just are trying to pass the bill to allow them to have it?
So it seems a lot of these states are already starting their purchasing. Some of them already even have like the older grayscale
Older one.
ETFs, but a lot of people are now shifting over to IBIT, BlackRock, because BlackRock controls the world, right? So they want to get on the biggest one. Like Mando, you said the same thing. Why do I want to mess with the smaller guys with smaller volume? Let's go with the
Yeah.
big guys and get big volume, right?
It's because I can tell that sometimes when people don't fully understand it is because they haven't experimented. So we did, by the way, we did an episode on options. It was very different of what we do, but we
Hmm.
wanted to share with everyone because sometimes they think that we are saying these things. It's like, well, are these guys for real? No. Well, we're actually showing you. Like we believe that you can replace a salary, right? If you have already enough IBIT or MicroStrategy uh, stock, you can sell cover calls, right? And just go and watch that video. We did in full detail. We split it in two episodes. First is kind of like the beginner's guide to just explain you why we thought about it. and then we are doing it, right? So we actually show you how to. Once again, that's not our forte, but we just wanted to share the idea with all of you, and we have a lot of views in a couple of those episodes.
Yeah, I think it's important to share some of these ideas because I know even for us, um, like we may have done investing and things like that, but maybe we didn't go very hard into options, or have but kind of left it right. Now with Bitcoin, there's some opportunity there just because of IBIT, BlackRock's ETF fund, right? And if it's something that we want to own, that gives us a little bit of an advantage over someone that's just kind of in there, out there, buying and selling. Because with options, you can place those bets, how you can call it, those bets, to just gain premium. And whether you get a sign like, okay, you have to buy Bitcoin, ooh, I mean, that's a good thing. Usually you do want to gain your stack, or whether you're trying to sell some of the Bitcoin but not really, just gain premium. There's ways of making money on it. So you can make a percent with as little as starting with, I guess, 5,500 or $6,000. Starting with that much, because you have to buy at least 100. Again, we cover this in our basics video, and we show you how to start off with 100K free money using paper trading. Don't get it twisted. They're not actually giving you money, but it gives you a sense of how the system works, what buttons you need to push, so you can practice. Some folks that have not done it. I have not done options all that much, but I started off with paper trading just to kind of get more familiar with it. And yeah, I could easily see you're making 1-2% a week. And how many weeks are there in their year? It's 50%. So you can do 50% to 100%, or doubling your money in a year. Now, again, not financial advice, and there's a lot of caveats to it. But if you start slow, you start simple, you start with a little bit of money, you can work your way up.
And now you see why the big boys, the smart money, right? They call it the smart money. They are using these instruments because they can do the same. They can start creating some fixed income using options. They can hedge. They can try to figure out. Now they have the tools. I know that a lot of the crypto bros, they are like too far on like maxis, like, oh no, we don't want institutions, we don't want government. Uh, I feel that I'm in the other opposite way. I feel that they are it allows other players to come and participate, which is Wall Street, right, and different organizations and governments. I don't care if they need to watch my wallet, right? So there are laws, right? There are taxes, implications, things like that. So I prefer that there is some guidance, so that way I don't have to hide, right? Because that was the other one. In some point, it felt like we were almost like needed to hide because you didn't know if government will come after you because you have some coins, right? And I feel that right now that's not the case. Even the president created his own meme coin.
I want Bitcoin.
I want Bitcoin. Get my Trump coin. Have fun, right? So, which is completely different from how it was before. That they were coming after you for having Bitcoin. So we'll see. Maybe it's a pendulum. Maybe we'll see if the next 4 years what happens, right? So hopefully we don't go to the other extreme as well, right? But yeah, going back to the news, you start seeing these different states trying to put. The other one was Montana.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious from your perspective, what this is kind of the implications. What are the ramifications that you see on these different states trying to have more reserves and being upfront with the public, right? That they are having them.
Well, so I think some of it is like structural in terms of some states are structured right now so that they can't purchase Bitcoin unless they do some legislative work first. Like they've got to make it legal for their state to purchase it. So for those states, which it's going to be a lot of states, they have to pass legislations, got to go through their governmental processes. They might need to pass a new bill in order to make it legal for them to start buying these types of assets, because they might have access to purchase other assets like other ETFs, but maybe Bitcoin's different enough where their current legislative language doesn't support it, so they need to introduce new language. Others maybe have other investment vehicles that they're currently doing. Maybe they're encouraging their state pension funds. Maybe they don't need legislation for that, but they're doing it in that route. So there's a lot of different approaches that states can start to do this. So we're starting to see Wisconsin, Montana. We have I guess at this point, maybe a third of the states about that have started either the legislation or they've already started buying into these ETFs. But this is what we said when these ETFs came out, right, last January, right? It's been a year now, is that it's going to legitimize the space where states and nations are going to be able to start purchasing these things, insurance companies, pension funds. So that's what we're starting to see, right? And after 1 year, we already have the U.S., the whole country, the U.S., and several of its states. I know Texas is also doing it. Also, we hear a lot about that here locally. That Texas is also starting to purchase Bitcoin too, and actually create a specific Bitcoin reserve. Not just purchasing it, but creating a specific reserve for it to hold. So maybe there's also that distinction there, right, Mando? Is that there's they can purchase the ETFs to be part of their normal investment funds that they might have. But then there's also the thought of a specific Bitcoin reserve, which there might be rules around how long you will hold it, rules around when you would sell it. So that might be the distinction there, why you might see a couple different numbers. Because we do see we know some states have already started purchasing it, but you hear legislation for a reserve of some sort. So maybe that's what it is. It's really about establishing something that will hold over the long term, and it's not necessarily just a buy and sell type thing that they're doing.
I think that maybe it's because they're using the instruments, but they might want to hold it so that way they are not behind these institutions. Because sometimes institutions blow up, right? And they will not have access to. You don't have your keys, you don't have your coins, right?
Yeah.
So I think that maybe that will allow them to have access, almost like a Fort Knox, right? I'm actually very curious how much gold do we truly have.
That's very true. I saw that news this week. I'm like, I'm curious too.
So it's holy shit, imagine if we have nothing. That's going to be an interesting or very low, right? Very low reserves.
They've got someone in there with a bunch of bricks spray painting them gold. They're all there. Look.
It's all gold. It's gold. I used to work in my 20s in this industry for these guys. They just repackage a lot of the grains. They have all the grains, right? Lentils, beans, rice, and so on, right? And the owner of the factory, he basically was showing me when I was joining the company. And I'm very curious, right? I'm an engineer. So I just saw these mountains of rice. He was having an audit that week. And basically what they did is that they just put the mountains in front of it. But when I went around, it was empty. So I feel that maybe they're gonna do something like that. They're gonna put this wall of.
They're gonna build the wall of gold.
They're gonna put the wall of gold.
It's the wall. It's the wall I was talking about. It's there.
It's the best, the most prettiest.
It's the best wall.
Golden wall of wall. Then you go around, and it's just freaking wall. There is nothing there.
We'll see.
I hope not, though, because that will piss off a lot of countries, right? Because they feel that there's some reserves there, and yeah, we'll see how that turns out. Without getting into politics, I feel that Doge is saving money for the country. There is something interesting there that producer Kerry was asking me. Is it true that maybe actually with these savings of 1 trillion, it will allow us to,
get a dividend?
No, actually, in fact, it's because we have not been doing a lot of GDP for us to be able to pay our debt. So we continue to print. So if this is the case, it actually might be a way for us to get out. because we keep saving. It's like a lot of the macroeconomy is like the microeconomy, right? Like it's like if you have your credit card, you're paying your credit card, and suddenly it's so much money that your interest, you can't even pay the interest. So it becomes like almost like you cannot pay that debt, and that's what was happening to US.
Hmm.
But now, if we are saving money, then we have enough money to pay that interest, so we don't have to borrow more or print more money. So yeah, I feel that it's getting beneficial for the country. So we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to make the numbers work. I guess any amount that you save will be good, but I think they've found maybe 50 billion or so right now. Uh, how much impact will that make? You've lost a lot of jobs. You've lost a lot of services. Of course, they found a lot of waste. I think some of it, it's you can't deny that, right? But maybe it's a good way to trim the fat, and it's something that probably we haven't done over the last right 5-6 decades, right? It's just been free money, free spending. So, and this is from both parties, right? It's not one party or the other. Everyone's been doing it. This is now they're. It's not that they're. It's not necessarily that one party is putting their foot down. It's just we have no choice. We just have no choice. We can't pay our bills, as the U.S. can't pay their bills. So they've got to do something to at least slow it down,
Yeah,
because at the rate that we're going, it was going way too fast, and it was going to happen too fast. If they're just buying time, which right now that's what it seems like, because they can't cut that much,
yeah,
because we owe too many trillions, right? We have 27 trillion in debt or something. The payment for that alone is like, I don't know, $1 trillion or so. So like we've saved 50 billion, but we
yeah.
need 1 trillion. It's
But
kind of like
remember though,
drop in the bucket.
if we
It's
get to
yearly.
a yeah, and if we get to 100 billions, then in a year it's a trillion. So it's like you will be able to get in that saving maybe year and a half. So we will start seeing that in that time, right?
Yeah.
It's hard. It is hard. I feel that uh, at least they're trying, right? Previous administrations, you didn't see that.
Yeah.
So
Well, they weren't
oh
forced. Right now, we're kind of we have to. There's like there's very little choice as to what you can do. But I don't know. I said maybe they're preparing, like, you know, everyone's picking up the Bitcoin, getting the reserves, because they like know at some point, if it doesn't work, if we don't slow it down enough, we got to jump ship to something else, and they got to have that backup plan in place. And what's Plan B? Plan Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin
yes,
strategy.
yes, a
So
Bitcoin strategy. There is a world in the multiverse where that could be an option, right? Like that is already. Why would you go into uh, a different currency, yuan's, right, from China, or like rupees from India, or even Mexican pesos, right? So it's like, why? Like you go to a better money, right? To a more technological money, right? So which is Bitcoin. Yes, you have other options. You have the shit coins, but would you put it in Dogecoin or a Pip coin? Like not
that would
really,
be
right?
funny. Trump coin.
Or in
Trump
a Trump
coin.
coin as well, right? So it's like, no, you're gonna put it in with a person that just give it a gift to the world. In this case, Satoshi, right? Like you can see that the guy or the group or the female, who knows what it is, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it just 1 million coins and they haven't moved, right? So it's that type of personality, whether it is like Jack Dorsey or not, right? So
Yeah.
you can see that it was a gift for society or for humanity.
Yep. Very cool. Well, that's all we've got for today. We hope you guys enjoyed our show today. If you did, please reward us with the like button, the subscribe button, all the buttons, because it really does help. You guys really don't understand how hard it is to get this channel going and keep it growing. So it really does make a huge impact. So if you made it till the end, please show your love. Do that. I also encourage y'all to go take a look at some of our older videos. Some of them are kind of fun. We've got lots of Bitcoin music videos. Check out some of our sponsor videos if you do have a Cybertruck. Maybe we should put some stickers also up for sale or something, so folks can support us with either a Tech-Mex pod sticker or The
Maybe,
Alania, I bought this before he became the first lady sticker.
yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe the audience can tell us what do they want. If they want
Yeah.
merch, if they want t-shirts, if they want like stickers, just comment it out. Let us know.
Yeah. I know I have heard t-shirts, I have heard stickers, so I do know those two. So maybe it's something that we can start working towards now that we have a couple things in mind.
All right. Well, we have a
Cool.
good one, man.
Y'all have it a good one. We'll see y'all next time. Dale.
Peace.